think I'm having a little bit of a trouble with my internet, which is why I'm not doing very well here. I've been trying to get online and it keeps throwing me out. Anyway, I'm here, I think. Can you see me? Can you hear me? Let me just go live on Instagram. Yep, I'm live. Tell me give me a thumbs up if you can see me and you can hear me. I'm sorry I didn't put up a preliminary post today. I forgot. There are going to be days like that where I forget to put up the post, which tells you what's coming up. So you don't probably know what's today, but today is going to be about why no two hooves are the same. Now, it's a really interesting thing that, and people always talk about different methods for different horses' feet. And of course, what we do is we follow nature's way. We follow the natural foot. That's important. If you don't, you're just guessing. So we're going to talk about why no two hooves are the same. I'm Lindsay Setchell. Thank you for joining me on this mini live challenge. I'm thrilled you're still here. It's day 14 of I think it's day 14, isn't it? January the 14th. Of course it is, of our journey together. And I want to talk about this topic simply because so many people talk about how you've got to do what's best for the horse, and every horse is an individual, which they are. So because every horse is unique in their own way that they walk, in their own biomechanics, their gait, their patterns. I'm not talking about walk, trot, canter. I'm talking about how they land and so on and so forth. So are their hooves, because they reflect that. But the last thing that we should try and do is trying to balance a foot to make a change to the biomechanics. Shouldn't do that. What you need to do is balance the foot, because the foot is shaped by the gait and by the way the horse moves. It's conformation. And then, only then, if you follow what the horse is showing you, has the horse got the opportunity to then have the right, correct posture, etc. So that's what we're going to look at today. Why no two hooves are the same. So, but before we do that, let's have a shout out. There's loads of people that don't know we're here, so they'll finally find us. If you want to get onto the Phoenix group and you want to tell us that everybody that we've gone live, people might appreciate that, but I haven't got time to do that. So Melanie's here. Hello, Melanie. Hi, nice to see you. Heather Swithenbanks here. Hi, everyone. We Live Pets 1000. Hey there. Hey, I've not seen you before. It's good to have you with us. Marianne's here with our pink marigold hand. Lovely to see you. Alison Franks. Hi, looking forward to another dose of thought-provoking education. Thank you. It was good speaking to you this afternoon. We enjoyed that, putting the world to rights, weren't we? And Maggie Thrussell's here. Hi, all. Deanna Hunter's here. Good morning. Georgie's here. Nice to see you, Georgie. Good evening, everyone. Sunshine says hello from Tennessee. Shannon Shipper's here. Hello from Canada. Lovely to see you. Dawn Lim's here. She says, I can't see you. Oh, no. Is that because that was before I went live? Can you see me now? Gail's waving. Karen's waving. I'm giving a lovely little cat emoji with the love heart eyes. Cannot see you, but can hear you. Ooh. Heather says you can't see. Oh, you can't see me. Is that still going on? So you still can't see you. Oh, everybody's saying that. Can't see you. Can't see. There she is. Oh, you see me now. Thank the Lord. Thank you for sorting my internet out. Jamie Lemmer says, yay, I'm so chuffed. I had Jan Brooksbank with me today. Wow, is Jan over in Dubai? And I'm totally re-inspired and got my eyes in the right place again. Support is everything. Oh, 100%. You've got to support each other. Stella's here. Good morning. Can hear you, can't see you, but I think you can all see me now. All right, I'll leave it at that, and we'll come back and have a little chat about a few more shout outs in a minute. So our topic today, and I can't stay around for too long today because I have a call coming up in not very long at all. I've been on calls all day today. That's sometimes what happens. So let me explain the factors that can contribute to hoof individuality. People say horses are all individuals. No one trim fits all. Well, there is no trim that fits a horse at all, unless you are trimming to the horse's natural parameters. And that is the truth. You have to trim to the horse's natural parameters, because if you're not doing that, you are making it up. So when people say, no one trim, I've tried different trims, there is only one trim, and that is just being a co-trimmer with your horse just taking off the excess that your horse can't remove because they're not moving enough. That is it. That is as simple as that. But for many people who like to chase pathology, and that's the rest of the equine world, it's too simple. It's far, far too simple. And that is why we have so many horses with so many problems in the equine world. But what people don't understand with the way that we help horses remove that excess is that they think that we're just doing, and it's very difficult to explain this until you do it yourself, that they think we're doing every single time we pick a foot up, we do the same thing. Now, this is different to a lot. We don't do that. We have the same guidelines, but each foot might need something slightly different doing to them within those guidelines. What you see with a lot of muscle memory trimming, PPT, is that no matter whether the sole needs exfoliating or not, it will get exfoliated and carved into many of the time. No matter whether the horse's toe pillar is in place, it will get removed a lot of the time. No matter whether the horse is trying to tell you that its heels need to come down, they will get left a lot of the time. I could go on. No matter if the bars are saying to you, we're overgrown, they do get left a lot of the time. So we need to understand why there are no two hooves that are identical. They're a bit like our fingerprints, their footprint. The constants are there. They've all got a hard sole plane. They've all got a frog, a navicular bone. They've all got corium. They've all got a dorsal wall, inner and outer hoof wall. Every inner hoof wall is unpigmented. They've all got those things in common. But the way they put their foot down and the way that they walk, their gait, we all know that they've got different versions of, we've called them different names in the equine world because the equine world loves to call things name. For instance, plaiting, when a horse is moving, where they're moving their feet, when you're looking at them, how they move their feet. So all of these are unique to the horse. But how much of that is down to genetics? How much of that is down to what they've inherited? The different foot shapes, the size of their bones, the size of the navicular bone. How much of that has been inherited? How many of those unique hoof structures have they inherited, such as the crena marginalis solearis? What's that, they say? Well, we call it a crena for short, and that's a little notch in the front of the coffin bone in front of P3, which therefore means that that you see in a sole, you often see a notch in the sole. Why is that there? Is it a problem for the horse? No. Why is it there? Well, it's a genetic trait. Is it a problem? No, unless the horse starts having pathological feet, trimmed incorrectly, and has issues and infection in the foot, and then stretch white lines, and then it can become an issue because you've got a wider gap in that area. But it's not an issue if the horse is healthy. So, but not all horses have that. Some do, some don't. Environment can really have an effect on the horse. If they're living in a constantly wet, muddy field, their frogs are not going to look the same as horses that are in a very, very dry climate. Their soles are probably going to exfoliate more compared to a dry climate. Their soles are probably not going to be quite as thick as those in a drier, more rocky climate, more rocky terrain. So the environment plays a role in shaping how those hooves grow and how in fact they wear. The activity level, horses that move frequently develop the hooves that are suited to go over, to have that high impact all the time, to go over those varied terrains. Growth rates change due to the activity level. Growth rates can also be changed because of trimming, because trimming is like putting your horse in a split second or the 5-minute trim through hundreds of miles of work. If the person is doing it incorrectly, they can remove so much toe, they can remove 3 months worth of growth and more. They can leave too much heel, and that can cause too much of a problem when this horse is trying to have the foot that it needs. So activity level is important. Diet and nutrition, of course, we've talked about that so many times. The nutrients that a horse consumes directly affects the hoof quality. It, without a shadow of a doubt, we know that now. A balanced diet, which they will get through eating herbage, which is the right kind of herbage, which is mixed meadow hay. They will get a good balanced diet as long as that mixed meadow hay is truly mixed and it's a good hay. They'll get all their essential vitamins and minerals, and that will result in stronger, healthier hooves. I know. It's hard to believe, isn't it? That dry stuff we see out there that we stick in hay nets and we put in buckets, etc., is going to give our horses enough. Supplement companies and feed companies will tell you that it isn't. And yet the evidence that we have is that they do get plenty, as long as it is properly mixed. There are lots of different plants in there, and you give a mineral block, which some people will tell you horses can't lick. Well, that's interesting, because all the ones that are on our books and all the horses that we rehab do fine with them. So again, you have to be careful who you listen to. So diet and nutrition are going to play a part, and then injuries, and of course pathologies, and the incorrect trim. So past injuries are going to cause, if they've caught their foot in a barbed wire fence, or in just a wired fence, and they pull and they cut their foot, they may rip a part of their hoof off, and there's going to be scar tissue there for the rest of their lives. That's going to cause differences in shaping. But I tell you this, if you follow the horse's natural foot, these sorts of injuries usually heal very well. The problem comes when you don't, because that horse has got an injury, you stop doing the things, you stop trimming them properly, because the foot is looking awful. And so you ignore all the good parts of that foot and you don't trim it properly. And before you know it, 4 months down the line, 6 months down the line, that horse has got terrible problems with that foot. Not mainly because of the injury that it sustained. It was more to do with the fact that you didn't keep up on top of the trims. So that can cause it. Pathologies where you have got systemic inflammation throughout the foot can cause problems and stop the horse from walking and loading properly. Thrush, etc., can cause issues with loading. Soreness in all of these areas, and the incorrect trim. If you are not trimming to the horse's natural constants, then you're going to have issues. Now, each hoof that we pick up will therefore tell its own story. So yes, they're unique. They're shaped by genetics. They're shaped by lifestyle. They're shaped by their health, the trimming. All of those are a history that shapes the horse's feet. So yes, if you want to call them all individuals, that's indeed what happens. Okay, so let's have more of a shout out there. Blum, 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 blum. Pia says, oh, there you are. Hello. Uta's here. Just about made it. Hi, everyone. Sarah's here. There was no notification tonight. No, I forgot. It's going to happen. Just be aware that Lindsay said she's going to come on around about 6 o'clock UK time, 1 o'clock ET. Get there, just in case. I should be there, even if I forget to put a notification up, because I forget. Georgie Williams, lost you, can't see or hear you. Probably can now. Anita Pepper says howdy. And Georgie says I can see you now. We Love 1000 says it's Tiv here. I didn't see the post on the hoofing page. No, it wasn't there. It wasn't there. Melanie had to go in and out again. Joe says, great to have more amazing info. You're very welcome. Teresa's here. Say hi. Jeanette says, very late. Have to watch the replay. I was late coming in anyway. Ramona's here. Hello from Spain. Ali's here. Hello. Jenny's here. Hey. Lydia's here. Finally found the live. Brilliant. Kathleen says, my mare's insulin tested in the normal range, the first time since starting testing 5 years ago. Thanks to offering free choice hay with no rye clover or alfalfa. Thanks to Lindsay and Gary. Yes! I think you messaged me, but I don't think I haven't looked at it. I am super proud of you. Well done. You see? Have faith in the process. Well done. That's just awesome. It's just fantastic. Brilliant, Kathleen. So proud of you. Okay, let's carry on. We've got to rush through this and get it done. So why a single horse can have differences between so we know there's going to be differences, and there are even single horses or horses. What am I talking about? Single horses who can have differences between each foot. Of course, Our 2 feet, we land slightly differently on. So not only are hooves unique between horses, but they're even on the same horse. No 2 hooves are exactly alike. So their weight distribution might be different. Their way they move, their gait, any injury in their body, of course, previous injuries to their body, farrier or trimming approach, all of these, shoeing, etc., can cause issues. And that has a knock-on effect. We always say when we're going to see a new client with a horse that's never been trimmed to its natural foot, you are going to see some amazing changes going on. You're going to see some fantastic changes, and we take photographs of the entire process. That's why we have tons and tons of information to share, because we always take photographs of what happens in that transition. And like we say, it's not always pretty, but pretty doesn't always mean that it's bad. And in fact, oftentimes, when you are following the horse's foot, it doesn't mean that it's bad. It's really important to really recognize and respect the differences when you're caring for your horse's hoofs. Now, how does that reflect on us when we're picking up a hoof? When I pick up a hoof to trim and I look at it, I might be looking at this foot today and going, well, look, there's a ton more bar on the lateral side than there was on the medial side to trim. Or there's loads of bar. It's got a mono bar, so I've got to do that. I don't have to do that on every foot I pick up, because not every foot has got that. On this foot, it's got an NPA, so I might be trimming more toe because the vertical height of the toe of the dorsal wall is too much. But I'm not going to do that on every horse's foot. I might be bringing the heels back because they're really underrun, or maybe they're not balanced correctly. That might not need to be done on every horse's foot, and it might not need to be done on the feet of every foot of the particular horse. I might be bringing the quarters down, which is generally on every single horse in between trims. I might be bringing the quarters down, but on the hind feet, there might be nothing to trim. So you see, I think you have to be very cautious when you're talking about trimming, because we often see, and you'll see it on TikTok, you'll see it on Instagram a lot when you see videos of particularly horses hooves being trimmed for a shoe. You will see the same thing done to every foot. They will go well beyond the natural parameters of that foot and disrespect it entirely. They don't mind, because they're putting a shoe on. They want it flat. They want it look clean. They want to cut those frogs. They want to make it look tidy, so that when the shoe is on and the foot goes down on the ground, everybody goes, oh, doesn't that look lovely? Aesthetics driven hoof care has given the horses in the domestic world a big problem. We shouldn't be doing aesthetic trimming hoof care, and yet we're at it all the time. So when we are going to trim, and when we do our routines of hoof trimming, what should we expect? Well, we should expect the horse's feet to change until they find their own natural foot. And it is quite an incredible thing to watch when horses have not had their own natural foot. When you start trimming them naturally, they go through all these changes, like I said. You need to really, they think that what we do is a one size fits all solution. It really isn't. There are guidelines which we follow, which are the horse's natural parameters. But when I pick a foot up, I will do different things depending on how far away from those natural parameters that foot is. That is what we are doing. That is what people don't understand. So when people say, well, one method doesn't work for every horse, it shouldn't be a method. You should not be following a method. You should have guidelines, which are the horse's natural parameters. And when you pick up a foot, you tailor your approach to what you're doing at that moment in time to meet the specific needs of that foot, i.e., if it's got heels that are underrun, has it got bars that are overgrown, has it got a long toe, a shorter toe? What are you going to do about that? Nothing. Let it grow. Are you going to balance it? What are you going to do with the quarters? Oh my goodness, there's loads of wool falling to pieces because of previous hoof care. What can you do? But you can't put it back on. Yeah, it's things like that. we focus on function. We don't focus on symmetry. And it's what each foot needs. No way do we try and make hooves look identical. But if you trim them correctly and you give the horse the right environment and diet and management, all of those things, you'd be surprised how similar feet can then become. The front feet and the back feet, how similar they can become. It's all about function for the horse's movement and their overall health. And if you work closely with your own horse's hooves, if you're doing the trimming or your hoof care professional, you can discuss each horse's hooves, your horse's hooves, unique characteristics with your farrier or your trimmer. And you always need to be having that and bearing that in mind. People that are not educated and don't have enough information are cherry picking methods and ideas because they get sucked into it. Now, you could say that about us, but what we always say, and we want you all to understand, is that this is not a method. It never has been a method. I don't go out there on a daily basis and repeat the same thing to the foot. I don't. This is about respecting the horse's natural parameters. So that is what we are all about. So their individuality in hooves is to be respected, and it's part of what makes every horse unique, of course. Just some shout outs on Instagram. Christy Ella's here, Shide Suzanne's here, 4-Beat Hoof Care is here, Equus Way of Life joined, CPA's joined, and Sarah Mids has joined. There's a few others. Good to see you. So today's Laurie Padamore's here. Hi, Laurie. Today's takeaway: no two hooves are the same, and that is okay. That's fine. And by understanding and respecting their individuality, we can provide the correct hoof care for that horse. We don't just go in and do exactly the same thing every time. Each foot needs something slightly different, but it's how far from the natural foot that foot has gone, and we are bringing it back to that natural foot. That is what we do. So for today's little mini challenge, go and take another look at your horse's hooves. I'm asking you to do this every day, right? Are you seeing things now? Are you beginning to see things now? Can you spot differences between the feet? Can you look at a front foot and a back foot? Do they look different? You should see differences in their shape, in their size, perhaps, in their heel height, in their toe length. Are you going to see differences? What about differences in their wear patterns? Share them, share the observations. If you know them already, put them in the comments and share your observations, because I'd love to hear what you discover and what you see. There are so many constants in the horse's hoof, but in the domestic world, when we subject horses to subjective hoof care, then the true foot that you're looking at, or the foot you're looking at, is not your horse's true foot. Only when you follow your horse's natural parameters are you then going to fully understand what your horse sees. Okay. Thank you so much for joining me today. I've got to go. I had 23 minutes. Look at me. Tomorrow, we're going to explore another topic. And so don't forget to tune in. If you found it interesting, if you found these little sessions interesting, makes you think about stuff. Makes you think, oh, yeah, I'd never thought about it like that. Please like, follow, subscribe, share with a friend, tag a friend. And I hope that we can continue to survive 365 lives of this year. We're day 14. We're doing well. All right, then. Bye-bye, everyone. Remember, the Phoenix way that we are always talking about, Mother Nature's way, is all about getting it together, understanding, learning, educating us, educating other people, and rising stronger together and making those changes that this equine world needs. So I'll see you tomorrow. Take care until then. Oh, actually, I will see you in an hour and a half for the big live with me and Gary, because we're on tonight. So I'll see you then. Okay, bye-bye. Take care. All the best now.